Is it time for Trinidad to devalue its currency? I'm Kalila from Money Media, giving you money news for the Caribbean. We've spoken a lot in the last year about Trinidad and Tobago's forex crisis. The country is not earning as much US dollars as it used to because it's not exporting as much oil, which accounts for 80% of Trinidad and Tobago's exports. Now that's been putting pressure on the USD that is already in the country, leading to foreign exchange shortages. Some banks even have cut the amount you can spend on a credit card to as low as $100 US per month. Now, Trinidad's central bank uses what's known as a managed float to manage the exchange rate. This is kind of like a hybrid between a fixed exchange rate and a floating rate. For example, Belize has a fixed exchange rate where the currency is pegged to the US dollar at 2-to-1. Meanwhile, Jamaica has a floating exchange rate where the value of the JMD moves every day in response to supply and demand. Now, in 1993, Trinidad and Tobago moved from a fixed rate to a managed float. At the time, the TT dollar was about 4-to-1 US, and it depreciated to around 6-to-1 after the change. And the central bank has kept it roughly there ever since by intervening in the market to prevent big swings. Now, technically, this is similar to what the Bank of Jamaica has been doing to keep the JMD from sliding too far too quickly. But in practice, what was supposed to be a managed float has once again become a fixed exchange rate. Trinidad's official exchange rate has been locked at about $6.80 to 1 US for almost 10 years. But that's just the official rate. Unofficially, people are paying up to 9 TT for 1 US on the black market, which is said to be thriving. Now, one solution being proposed is to allow the TTD to devalue to $9, which naturally has stirred a lot of controversy. Proponents include businessman Emil Elias, who's written to Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar requesting devaluation to $9. He argues that the black market would disappear overnight, exports would rise, and investment inflows would increase. He says demand would also normalize once citizens and businesses can reliably access US dollars through the banking system at the correct price. According to Elias, critical projects have been stalled because USD for imported equipment and materials can't be sourced. But on the other hand, devaluing to $9 would also have significant consequences. That's a 32% fall, which would affect the cost of goods and services, especially for imported items, possibly leading to a sharp rise in inflation. Several economists have since warned that it would be a dangerous move. They argue that because Trinidad's forex woes are directly tied to a decline in its oil and gas market, devaluing the currency won't help. Now, ExxonMobil did recently sign a new deal with Trinidad's government to look for oil and gas offshore. The company could invest over $21 billion if it finds major reserves, which would be great news for the Twin Island Republic. But that won't happen overnight, if it happens at all. Exploration can take years before producing oil or gas, even for a mature provider like Trinidad. And that's why some economists think that the country should focus instead on building other industries in order to increase exports and earn more USD that way. And that's the bottom line. So what do you think? Is it time for TNT to devalue its currency? Let me know in the comments. Go to getmoneynews.com for more info like this straight to your inbox. The link is in my bio or in the description. Let's get this money.
Let's get this money.